Well, everyone. That old conversation is back again. Should disc brakes be banned from the pro teams and the pro circuit? Well, there's pros and cons for that argument, and we're going to run that intro, and after the intro we're going to talk about what are the implications of carrying out such a decision. Roll that intro. Well, let's look at it objectively. Now, when we bring in new tech into the pro peloton, there always has been some resistance to such new tech, and disc brakes is one of those. It was slicing people's legs, and I thought that was a bit of an exaggeration. I mean, they're very close to the wheel, and to get your leg in there would be pretty hard. Plus, it was shown that they just weren't that sharp. I mean, a lot of people did tests on bits of fruit and vegetables and all that sort of stuff, and to mimic human flesh. But yeah, I mean, how many accidents are really happening from disc cutting people? So I think a lot of these things were just a bit of scaremongering about disc brakes in the first instance, which happened a few years ago. But when we talk about pros and cons, let's look at it as a more overview, general type of view, because when we look at things like the pros for disc brakes or any new technology that comes to the pro peloton, I think that's a good thing, because what it does is it encourages the manufacturers to expand their thinking. They're developing new technologies, and I personally would even like to see the UCI relax laws more. I think the shape of the frames has been limited for many years, and I'd like to see the rules go back to the 90s, where they had some of the very innovative bikes where manufacturers could really go at it and design some very aerodynamic shapes. And we had the Superbike, which was made in Australia, and we also had the Lotus bike, which was also one of the contenders, and actually still holds the hour record, that bike. So I would like to see some more technology go into how fast can these bikes really perform and add to the performance of the riders riding them. But so that's a big pro to new technology, whether it be disc brakes or frame design or wheel design or anything. We want to see the bikes advance. We want to see new techs developed, and the pros are really good, playground or a sandbox to develop these sorts of technologies. So I would actually like to see technology stay in the pro peloton. Now, when we look at the negatives, then we have the practicalities of different wheels. There are different whips at the back. There's different spoke arrangements. There's different brakes. You can't just easily swap wheels from rim brakes to disc brakes, because the whole design of the bike is actually quite different. So then we've got the old, vehicles following these people around these courses, and the spares just don't fit universally anymore. Now, I mean, my view is I'm a little bit against these crews all following right next to these riders and mechanics hanging out of windows and all this sort of stuff. I think that that could be reviewed somewhat. But anyway, that's the way it is. That's just my opinion. But with all these people following each other around, and they've got spare wheels and all bits and pieces, this is actually a bit of a negative towards disc brakes, because the functionality of having a mechanical whilst you're riding becomes a lot more of a problem, and you can't get a wheel from the what do they call those people who have wheels for everyone? Anyway, can't remember. But the people have general wheels. They're not your actual team. You might not be able to take a wheel off them because you're running rim brakes or you're running disc brakes, and they've only got one or the other. So that limits that support that you can get from the follow cars. So that's really the main two reasons. Now people focus on these lockups and so forth like that, but that will actually make the manufacturers go and perfect these systems, these disc brakes better. So, and then it'll trickle down into all of the models. So people who are riding their cross bikes and all those sorts of things then will benefit from a better technology, because they'll found that there is actually a problem with them jamming and locking up, and the manufacturers correct this. So I do think that running technology at the pro level is a good thing for all of us, But of course, for the people in the race and they've got a locked up wheel and they can't get it out of the frame and they're losing critical seconds is not a good thing. But hopefully they can iron those things out. So my view, in conclusion, is that, yeah, I like to see new tech, but there is actual problems with introducing new tech. And I think that people like the UCI need to rethink the whole format of these races. I do think that I would like to see some of these races a bit shorter, the stages they have, like in the Tour de France, and maybe they could go a little bit faster. I would like to see the UCI relax the frame rules, so we start to see some of those extremely aerodynamic bikes that we used to have in the 90s, and we actually may even see some new tech introduced, because a lot of people, I don't think they realise the UCI actually have very stringent rules and limit a lot of design criteria of the manufacturers. So anyway, guys, what do you think about the UCI rules, mixing and matching different types of wheels in the Pro Peloton? If someone chooses to run disc brakes or rim brakes, then, well, if that's a problem getting a wheel, that's their choice. Or should it all be standardised, and should, it be the same equipment for everyone and it's only rider performance? So leave your comments down below. What's your view on it? Because they are really valid arguments, and I don't think any particular argument has merits over the other. So guys, I'm going to leave it there, and we can have a bit of a discussion in the comments. Cheers. Catch you later.